Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Sean from All Things EV, and this video is to catch you up to speed on Tesla's most recent changes. I'm smiling here because it's hard to keep track of all the changes that they're making to Model 3, but they just made some updates and changes to Model 3 this week. So the video is to catch you up to speed on all the changes they've made, and the biggest one, I think, is that the standard range $35,000 Model 3 is no longer available on their website. They say that it is offered off menu, so you can call into Tesla or you can go into a store. However, it is not an option available on their website, which is a about face on this whole push to transition people to moving people online to order their vehicles. They're adding now one additional step, and it could be seen as one additional hurdle to order the standard range, therefore dissuading or discouraging people from ordering that standard range. If you've got two options, one, to go into a store, and two, to order a car online, most people are probably going to choose the online option if you already know what you want. The other thing that I want to make mention of is this off-menu ordering. Off-menu stuff is where features of Tesla go to die. It's what they did for the solid body roof. It's what they did for the sunroof that they offered with the Model S, and as well the carbon fiber trim inside the Model S and X. This really appears like they're trying to dissuade and discourage people from buying that $35K version. Why, do you ask? Well, my gut feeling is that they realized at some point, I don't know if it was before they announced the offering of the $35K Model 3 on February 28th or after, but I think they just determined that it either was a loss selling the standard range or it was extremely slim margins and it just didn't make sense. One of the things that is an interesting point that Tesla makes in terms of their reasoning for doing away with that on the website and encouraging people toward the standard range plus is they said, quote, "Last quarter we introduced two new Model 3 variants with more competitive pricing than ever before, Standard and Standard Plus. Since then, Standard Plus has sold at more than 6 times the rate of Standard, far exceeding our expectations." I mean, the reason why it's been selling 6 times better is because Tesla has been upselling people and they have been withholding deliveries of the standard range, and it's silly antics. And the thing that's frustrating to me about this is atypical bait and switch sales, which is the whole thing that Tesla has really railed against with traditional dealerships. I just don't like them going back and forth on their word. At first they said that the standard range was going to be available with a 2-week delivery time frame. That never happened. It's now been like a month and a half since they introduced the standard range, advertising the 2-week delivery. So in between that point in which people were able to order and today, Tesla has been upselling these people who've ordered the standard range to the standard range plus. Now, ultimately, it's people's decision on how much they spend and how much they decide to pay for a Model 3. But if you tell people that you're going to deliver a standard range car in 2 weeks and you don't do it, that is not following through with your words. So this is one of the frustrating points about Tesla, is that they often go back on their word, which is counterproductive to building a company that has a good reputation. Okay, rant over. One of the additional interesting things that I'll make note about this standard range is it is now confirmed that that standard range vehicle is a software downgrade from the standard range plus. So it's basically a software limited standard range plus battery, which is actually kind of cool, and this is probably the silver lining in this whole thing. Software limited batteries allow you to charge to 100% without messing up or degrading or accelerating the degradation of the battery. So that's one good thing. And if at any point when you've got the extra cash, you want to pay a little bit extra money in the future and upgrade that battery to get the additional 10%, super cool option to have. And I really love when Tesla does this software limited thing, because it creates a revenue potential for Tesla, and I think it creates a better experience for the owner as well. The last thing that I want to mention that you don't get with the standard range that you would get with the standard range plus is there will be some features that are software disabled, like onboard music streaming service, navigation with live traffic visualization, as well as heated seats. This creates an additional revenue opportunity for Tesla in the future to push out incentives, to push out opportunities for an owner with a standard range battery pack to upgrade and spend a little bit more money getting those features. Now, I mentioned earlier that off-menu options are where features go to die and go away. 35K version Model 3, I could definitely see Tesla bringing back once they continue to drive down the cost of battery cells, modules, and packs. I just think it's too good of a vehicle to not bring that 35K version back. So maybe they offer it as an off-menu option, encouraging people to spring for the standard range plus, and then maybe in 6 to 12 months, they bring back the 35K version better than ever at that same price point and delightfully surprise people. The next update that Tesla mentioned was this introduction of a leasing option for the Model 3. Now, this comes to me at a little bit of a surprise because both Elon and Deepak on the last earnings call said that they wouldn't be introducing this until later in the year because it's not as profitable of an option as selling an actual vehicle to a customer. Tesla says, quote, customers can choose any Model 3 variant and select an annual mileage option of 10,000 miles, 12,000 miles, or 15,000 miles. However, it's important to note that since they removed the standard range from the website, it is not available for a lease. The only options that are available for a lease are the standard range plus rear-wheel drive and the dual motor all-wheel drive long range and performance options. So they're trying to drive people towards the higher priced, higher margin vehicles. After this 3-year lease is over, Tesla says that you will not be able to purchase this vehicle because Tesla will be taking those Model 3s back and adding them to their upcoming and pending ride-sharing autonomous fleet. It's like layer upon layer of news in this announcement, which seems to be how Tesla is doing these things. But this essentially says that Tesla has a high level of confidence. Well, high level of confidence is definitely subjective these days with Tesla, but they're thinking that in 3 years that this ride-hailing service to compete with Uber and Lyft will be available and they'll be able to add these vehicles to that ride-hailing fleet. And the last piece of news that was tied to this update but not in that Tesla note that they published on their website, but confirmed by Electric, is that the Standard Range Plus is now being released and available for people to select in Europe and China. So this is definitely good news, I think, on Tesla's end. This gives people more options. For people that don't want to spring for the long-range, dual motor, and performance options, this now gives people a lower entry point to get into a Model 3. This makes Q2 2019 very, very promising for Tesla. I'm extremely optimistic for a better quarter than Q1 2019. So that's a really good summary of what's going on with the most recent changes with the Model 3. I really do hope that Tesla changes their communication style with some of these things. For me, it's a little bit frustrating that the communication isn't more clear. Instead, maybe Tesla should have communicated that the standard range is only going to be a limited edition, limited availability option, and communicated it like that. But they did not do that. They really built this up as sort of the end goal for the Model 3 to sell this 35K version to get as many people in the door and into the Model 3 as possible. Sound off in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Big shout out to my Patreon supporters. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you're a regular, hit the like button, and I'll see everyone on the next video.